Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
The Hardy Souls in the gallery at the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic haven't had a ton to cheer for here. One of the shots of the day on Monday from Kent Bull. Out of the bunker for eagle on the par 5 15th. That would move him to 5 over par. It's actually not too bad a spot to be in right now as we are midway through the second round. Welcome into Golf Central. I'm George Savaricas with a couple guys who have won on both the Web.com Tour and the PGA Tour, and Brian Bateman and Dickie Pride, and our Golf Channel insider Tim Rosafort. Scores the average over 80 on Sunday. Bit of a different story. Still, though, tough sledding in the second round, Brian.
Yeah, we're seeing some sunshine, which is, I'm sure those players are happy about that. But, yeah, the difficult conditions are still there. The good thing is that the wind direction is in the same direction it was yesterday. We're starting to see a few more birdies made, but it's still a survival of the fittest, and half the field hadn't even teed off yet. So they still got some golf to be played, and the wind's still blowing. And
definitely mentally a lot of hurdles to jump through when you're having to grind out pars and bogeys, and that actually keeps you inside the cut line, Dickie.
That's right. Well, these are the kind of days I loved when I played on tour, because everyone gets upset, everyone gets mad, they get frustrated, they lose their cool, and I knew if I kept my wits about me, if I kept my positive attitude, and I did everything I could and did not get upset and take what the golf course gives you, I had an advantage. I love these days.
One guy who talked about doing that in the first round was Tom Lovelady, Tim.
Good day for the guys living at the Justin Thomas house in Tequesta, Florida yesterday. Justin gets his third W, and he's getting closer to winning on the mainland. He still had to go 12 hours to do it. And then Lovelady, his roommate, not only at the University of Alabama back in their freshman year, but also now that Lovelady's gotten through. And Lovelady had maybe a round better than Justin yesterday in actuality in terms of degree of difficulty. It's always tough to crack through when you're trying to beat Hideki Matsuyama. But in those conditions, talking to him today as he was waiting his tee time, talking to Jay Sewell, the Alabama coach, obviously could be one of those rounds of the year when we get to the end of the year. And Sewell, a little surprised, only in the sense that he had the creativity to do it when he was in college, but he didn't have the patience, and you certainly needed patience yesterday.
All right, let's check out some of the highlights that we've seen so far. It starts with Austin Cook, par 4 14th, his approach.
Yeah, trying to take advantage of these shorter approach shots, even difficult with his crosswind. Hits a beautiful shot, controlling his distance and his spin to about 9 feet.
It's definitely nice if you're James Driscoll and you're getting birdie attempts like this to drop on the 13th.
Yeah, it has a putting stroke very similar to Hideki Matsuyama. Long, slow, deliberate, but it goes in, George.
You know, it always goes in if it's down from the waves. Here's Ted Potter Jr., par 4 12.
Well, Dickie and I were watching this in the green room. This is an unbelievable shot. Holds the face off, low finish with the 3-wood. Unbelievable. That's one of the best shots we saw all day. Into the wind off the left. Tough shot for a left-hander.
Well-earned 2-putt par. He would remain at 8 over. Chesson Hadley, par 5 9.
Yeah, tour veteran here, and was trying to finish his round off with a birdie on the long par 5 9th. Hits a beautiful putt up and over the ridge. Nice putt. Speed counts.
Ramming speed, a 1 over 73. He's at 5 over. That puts you on the first page of the leaderboard. Nicholas Thompson.
Another tour veteran. And this is what you have to do, George. When it's difficult outside, you have to take advantage of your short game. Every shot counts, and that's a chip in for par that will go a long way in momentum for his front 9.
And how about this effort from Kent Bull? Arguably one of the shots of the day. His third for eagle on the 15th.
Yeah, they're calling these sandy areas, so you are allowed to ground your club. Into the wind had to help. Flagstick helped as well.
That would move him to 5 over par at the time. So here are these scores from the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic. And Dan McCarthy with that 1 under 71, the only player in the entire field at the moment who is under par. You see a couple players at even. Gary Christian caught up with Dan McCarthy.
Rounds are 72-71 under these conditions. I would imagine you are absolutely delighted by that performance.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. You know, it's just out there, it always seems like a big number is just right around the corner. So I was able to avoid those. I think I only made 1 double, second hole yesterday. So very pleased with the way to start now.
We've talked of patience, attitude, all these attributes I would imagine would have been so important to having the success you've had these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just been trying to tell myself to go numb out there to whatever happens. There's so much that's out of your control with conditions like this, and when something goes crazy, you just kind of got to laugh it off.
Now, you're 31 years old. You've had sort of steady progression until last year when 4 wins on the Mackenzie Tour in Canada. The confidence that breeds, winning tournaments under those circumstances, and it's very, very good fields indeed. That has to have great momentum coming onto the Web.com tour.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to draw back on those experiences and how I felt, under those situations, and try to believe in myself as much as I can, knowing that I pulled off a lot of great shots under some, serious pressure up there last summer. So.
Well, with the conditions staying very, very similar, you have to be so pleased where it seems when you have those kind of scores, all facets of your game must be working. You can't have any weak points whatsoever. I would imagine you must be very confident going into the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, this is a new tour and a new level for me, so, there'll be some nerves I probably haven't experienced before, but like I said, I'm really going to try to draw back on last summer's experience on the Mackenzie Tour and hopefully keep the momentum going.
One of the few guys who can really sleep easy now as they stare down the final 36 holes, at least for Tom Lovelady, with 2 rounds in the books at 1 under par. You have guys averaging nearly 80.5 that first round. As you shift the focus to the second round, some guys haven't even teed off yet, but we see a lot of guys who have improved significantly in the second round. What does that do for your preparation once you face today with wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour?
Well, it's when it's blowing this hard, it's difficult for any player in the field. But I thought it was interesting. We talked about it in the pregame, how the veterans might be a better figured out a way to get their way through the wind more so than a rookie. Well, these are tough conditions. And the players that have moved up the leaderboard today, Nicholas Thompson, Chesson Hadley, have been on tour, have experience, know what this is like to battle through these conditions. And DJ Tran's another one. Yeah. Have moved up the leaderboard by just shooting 1 or 2 under par and then let the rest of the field battle the conditions. So I'm not surprised at all to see the scores improve, but I'm also not surprised to see the veterans that are pulling this off have some experience on the PGA Tour. DJ Trahan, the first guy to break 70 so far in this event, Dickie.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Brian was saying. These guys have been on tour. They know how to react. They know how to get over the bad mistakes and over the bad breaks and just move on and play. They know it's difficult for everyone and they can handle the situation. And sometimes when you're a rookie, I know when I was a rookie, I sure got a little upset about things that I didn't need to get upset about. And this golf course and this condition will do it to you right now.
It's all between the years this week, right, guys? I mean, you think about how brutal the conditions are, and probably there are some people in that field wishing that they weren't there. But yeah. At the same time, the demand is such right now. This is an avenue back onto the PGA Tour or onto the PGA Tour for the first time. So really, you just have to put your head down and try to do what Lovelady did yesterday, showed some patience in what McCarthy's doing today in another remarkable round considering the conditions.
Dickie, how different is the mentality when it's not your standard Web.com Tour event where 15 or 20 under can win? If you're a guy who's at 7 or 8 over par, are you trying to get to a certain score? Are you trying to think, okay, if I get to 3 or 4 over, by the time I'm going to the final round, I'm in the thick of things? What's the approach like?
Well, I think you take that confidence and say, I'm going to just stay patient. I'm going to just play the best I can play and let it add up. If you start shooting for numbers, you start pressing. And when you start pressing in situations like this with 30, 40-mile-per-hour winds, you can make big mistakes. It's like almost playing a U.S. Open. You don't want to make a double. You want to give yourself a shot for birdie. If you don't have a shot for birdie, you want a chip for birdie. If you don't have and then a putt for par. Don't make worse than a bogey and just keep your head down and keep moving that way. It's tough. It's tough, but it's a lot of fun. It actually, you get watching those shots. That one Ted Potter hit, oh man, that just excited me. I was ready to go down there and play.
And you're seeing a lot of these guys that are up on the leaderboard. They're staying away from the big numbers. Everybody's going to make bogeys. I mean, when the wind's blowing this difficult, you're going to have shots that don't turn out like you want. You have to try to scramble with your short game. But the players at the top of the leaderboard are staying away from the doubles or worse, and that's why they're where they are. And they're going to have to continue to do this because it doesn't look like the wind is going to lay down for the 3rd and 4th rounds. Not exactly a cool island breeze that these guys have gotten so far in the Web.com Tour season opener, as it is very gusty oceanside. You're going to get all the action that concludes with that exciting Wednesday finish. Our coverage of the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic continues tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time.
Head on Golf Central, before he was collecting trophies on the PGA Tour, Justin Thomas had his breakthrough moment on the web. We're going to flash back to the 2014 Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship. And he's just getting going as PGA Tour Commissioner. A sit-down with Jay Monahan. You're going to hear his goals for the tour later in the show.
The goals are really, it always starts with people. So for me, it's really about listening to our players, our fans, our tournaments, our sponsors. And I think from that will come the growth, not only of the PGA Tour and our business, but hopefully the game. I think if we all work together to grow this game, then everybody will flourish, and we're particularly focused on that.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game. The Hawaiian Islands. Visit gohawaii.com/golf.